Former French President Nicolas Sarkozy will begin his 5-year sentence in La Santé prison in Paris on Tuesday.
A court in Slovakia sentenced the man who attempted to assassinate Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico to 21 years in prison on terrorism charges.
Over 48 hours have passed since historic jewels were stolen in broad daylight from the Louvre, the world's most visited museum. Nicolas Sarkozy arrived at La Santé prison in Paris on Tuesday, where he will serve a 5-year sentence. He is the first former French president in living memory to be imprisoned. The judge ruled the former French leader would start his prison sentence without waiting for his appeal to be heard, citing the seriousness of the disruption to public order caused by the offence.
Et s'ils veulent absolument que je dorme en prison, je dormirai en prison. Mais la tête haute. Je suis innocent.
In September, a Paris court found Sarkozy guilty of criminal conspiracy involving the use of funds from Libya to finance his 2007 presidential campaign. He is expected to be held either in solitary confinement or in a prisoner's section for vulnerable inmates, also known as the so-called VIP section.
It's a first in the history of the European Union, a former head of state behind bars. Nicolas Sarkozy, president of France from 2007 to 2012, entered the La Santé prison right behind me in Paris this Tuesday morning. The 70-year-old is serving a 5-year sentence for criminal conspiracy for the Libyan financing of his 2007 presidential campaign. Sarkozy has appealed the verdict, as has the prosecutor's office. This morning, his sons called for a show of support near his family home in Paris, and hundreds of people gathered in support of the former president.
C'est des habitudes qui doivent changer, c'est très bien, mais ça ne mérite absolument pas la prison pour Sarkozy. C'est quelque chose d'absolument totalement aberrant.
Je ressens beaucoup de tristesse. Tristesse pour celui qui a été notre guide pendant 5 ans, qui a été président de notre pays, qui a mené l'État, la France, de la tristesse et des interrogations par rapport à cette condamnation qui semble quand même assez sévère.
J'ai honte pour la France. J'ai honte pour un président qui a tellement fait, qui est sincère, qui a lutté pendant la crise des subprimes, qui a fait vraiment. Puis même, je veux dire, c'est pas normal de le mettre en prison. C'est complètement absurde, ça sert à rien, absolument à rien, à part à humilier la France.
J'ai un peu honte, j'avoue, j'ai un peu honte vis-à-vis du monde entier. On vit comme des pays sous-développés presque. Enfin bon, je trouve ça terrible, quoi.
Once Sarkozy is officially registered as an inmate, his lawyers will immediately request his release pending appeal. The courts will have up to 2 months to decide, though a ruling could come much earlier. Sofia Katsankova reporting from Paris for Euronews.
NATO's beginning to wind down its major annual nuclear deterrence military exercise, dubbed Steadfast Noon, which is set to come to a close on Friday. This year's exercises are being hosted primarily by the Netherlands, but were spread across 3 other nations: Denmark, Belgium, and the UK. The drill, which featured participation from 14 of the alliance's member states and over 70 fighter jets, kicked off on Monday the 13th of October. Bomber and fighter jets that can carry nuclear warheads took off from the Volkel Air Base in the southeast of the Netherlands. The bulk of the drills were held in the airspace of the North Sea region.
We mentally prepare the people involved actually executing on a tactical level the mission to be able to do this mission. There are multiple steps involved, keeping those pilots up to speed to be able to perform that. It's not like everybody can do it. It's a special mission within NATO.
And though no live munitions or nuclear weapons were being used, the drills aimed to simulate real-life scenarios to boost preparedness in the face of threats. NATO officials would not say what kind of scenarios were used to test the alliance's nuclear readiness. They, however, insisted that it's not directed towards any particular country, nor related to current international events. A court in Slovakia has sentenced the man who shot and injured Prime Minister Robert Fico to 21 years in prison on terrorism charges. The verdict was delivered on Tuesday by one of Slovakia's specialized criminal courts. The 72-year-old would-be assassin targeted the populist Slovak leader in May last year as he was departing a government meeting. The meeting had been held in Handlova, around 140 kilometers north of the capital Bratislava. Fico was shot in the abdomen and rushed to hospital to undergo an emergency operation, which was successful. The attacker, who refused to testify during the trial, previously said he targeted the Slovak premier because he disagreed with his policies and pro-Russian stance. He noted that he did not intend to kill Fico and was only aiming to injure him, adding that he was relieved to hear of his survival.
A cable that snapped on the Lisbon funicular, causing a crash that killed some 16 people last month, was not certified for use in public transport, an official investigation has found. According to a report released on Monday by Portugal's Accident Investigation Office, the cable had accumulated maintenance issues and did not meet specifications set by CARIS, the municipal transport operator. The report called for all Lisbon cable cars to be kept out of service for urgent modifications. The disaster, described as one of the biggest human tragedies in the country's history, unfolded after the iconic Gloria funicular came off the rails and hurtled into a building, killing 16 people and leaving 21 others injured.
If a driver gets their driving license revoked in one EU country, it's automatically invalidated in all 26 others. This is one of the new measures approved on Tuesday by the European Parliament. It intends to stop reckless drivers from continuing to drive after having committed major traffic offences, such as excessive speeding and driving under the influence. Lawmakers also approved a new form of permits in digital driver's licenses. It's poised to become the main form of documentation in the bloc and will be accessible via smartphones. 17-year-olds will also be able to get behind the wheel, as the bloc approved plans to allow them to obtain provisional licenses, so long as they are accompanied by an experienced driver until they turn 18. The new rules, confirmed on the EU level, are expected to come into force within 3 years, pending approval at the national level. They aim to enhance road safety as the EU looks to inch closer to its goal of halving road deaths by 2030.
Over 48 hours have passed since historic jewels were stolen in broad daylight from the Louvre, the world's most visited museum. According to art experts, it's a race against time as the first 48 hours are crucial for the recovery of the jewels. Several speculate the criminals may get caught, but the jewelry itself may never be recovered. The stolen jewels are nearly impossible to sell on the open market. Instead, the gemstones may be cut and the gold melted down.
They chose this room because it was close to a window. They chose these jewels because they figured that they could break them apart, take out the settings, take out the diamonds and the sapphires and the emeralds, and take them to Israel, take them to Antwerp, India, find a dodgy dealer that's willing to recut them, and no one would ever know what they did.
The heist sparked public outrage and has been criticized as a, quote, national humiliation by several French lawmakers. It also raised questions over museum security, for which officials at the Louvre had previously warned there was a lack of investment. The criticism resulted in blame games, with accusations going as far as pointing the finger at the museum's head of security, Dominique Buffin, calling her a diversity hire. But art expert Christopher Marinello says museum heists are on the rise in Europe. In France itself, at least 4 museums have been robbed in recent months.
Social media such as TikTok are now almost synonymous with the younger generations and modern digital culture. However, social media have also become an unlikely home for the more historical of topics, like traditional craftsmanship.
Tradycyjny content jest bardzo popularny, bo to jest coś, czego na co dzień też nie widzimy. Rzemiosło jest jednak okraszone tą taką odrobiną tajemniczości, to co dzieje się w warsztacie rzemieślnika. Pokazanie tego procesu twórczego często, pracy z materiałem surowym jest dla użytkownika platformy interesujące. I kiedy ktoś pozwala zajrzeć z tyłu do warsztatu, pokazuje to, co się dzieje w jego pracowni, buduje to także więź użytkownika z tym przedmiotem, a także z tym konkretnym przedsiębiorcą.
According to experts, craftsmen rely on new media not only for entertainment, but also business purposes.
Po pierwsze po to, aby opowiadać o sobie, o swoim rzemiośle, o swojej firmie, a także promować swoje produkty i usługi, a po drugie także pozyskuje się poprzez nią wiedzę na temat opinii klientów i tego, co klient oczekuje od naszych produktów albo od usług. Pozwala ona spojrzeć poza granice Polski i zobaczyć, czego oczekuje klient zagraniczny, a to z kolei buduje dla małych przedsiębiorstw szansę na to, żeby wyjść ze swoim produktem na świat i działać globalnie.
Over 900 million videos under the tag craft have been posted to TikTok alone, proving the global appeal of traditional craftsmanship.